first time, the Greens are now the largest party in a local authority. Now, that is great news. Great news for people in Norwich, but also what encouragement for other communities up and down the country. And what a fantastic base for electing more Greens at every level, including more at Westminster and more at the Scottish Parliament. And then in the local elections in May before that, we made our first breakthrough on Reading, Reigate and Rochford councils, and won our second seat on Cambridge council. And I think it's a clear sign of our growing challenge to the three main parties. But it also means more communities now have that kind of principled and committed representation that the public wants and deserves. And so we've had successes in local elections. Great work being done by Green representatives in dozens of local authorities, in the London Assembly, in the European Parliament, and in the Scottish Parliament. There's much to celebrate. Now on to something else. Success in Brighton. It was one amazing night for all of us, and I can't tell you what a privilege it was to stand on that stage and represent this wonderful movement of ours. So many thoughts crowding in, and fortunately crowding out the fact that none of us slept in about 24 hours. How it all started in Britain well over 30 years ago. First known as People, then the Ecology Party, the first political movement based on ecological principles, on what we've come to call green principles. And the years, the decades, of work by so many thousands of people over so many years, believing against all the odds, ignored and at times ridiculed by the mainstream, yet never losing faith. It was a long journey, a difficult journey, where the odds have been stacked against us all the way. But the results showed us, and showed the wider world, that the big guns don't always win in politics. And that is a wonderful message to point out, and to put out, and to communicate, and to say that Greens can win, and we will win. Politics can be different. And so many people play such a pivotal role in making that happen. And it puts me in mind actually of those critical mass cycle rides. Do you remember how when the police were trying to stop the London ride using many of the hundreds of bits of anti-protest legislation brought in by Labour, what they tried to do was to find out who were the leaders of critical mass so that they could then serve an injunction on them. And of course the irony was that it doesn't have any leaders, it's spontaneous. People gather, and when the time is right, when everyone's ready, someone chooses to pedal off. It's as simple and as powerful as that. But as with critical mass cycle ride, so with the Green Party. It's not the one at the front who matters. It's everyone who's there. And all of us here today, and all of our members and supporters, past and present, played their roles. And the thousands, the hundreds of thousands of people who put their faith in Green candidates. They are what made it happen in Brighton, and they are what will make it happen to the Green Party in Scotland and in England and Wales, and make it go on happening as well. So as I said, it's been a long journey, but it's also the beginning of a new journey, the political party represented at Westminster at last. And we've been given the chance to be a really new voice in politics. That's a great responsibility. And like the achievement of the historic victory, the responsibilities that come with it are also shared. As too is the challenge ahead to build on the collective wins and achievements. And as the Hollywood elections approach, it's crucial to grasp that challenge head on. And I think there are a number of key tasks that we now face together as Green parties. First, in terms of our policy development and what we want to achieve and how we articulate that to the many people who, perhaps for the first time, are now beginning to look at the Green Party with interest. People who are open to what we stand for, but don't necessarily yet identify themselves as Green voters. And in our policy making, we've always sought to combine aspiration and pragmatism. We dare to think big, to imagine the world that we want, not the world we've been told we have to put up with. And some of our ideas have become mainstream. Things like lowering the voting age to 16, for example, were seen as a bit of a joke when we first put that forward. And now it seems like an idea whose time is coming. Or the living wage, you know, that supposedly radical idea that we might pay people enough to live on. To be able to pay the bills and put a bit by. And that was an idea which the Green London Assembly members, Jenny Jones and Darren Johnson, fought for and won, and which is now being picked up across the country, including, of course, by Green MSPs, who combined their campaign with calls for a clampdown on excessive salaries at the top of the public sector, and for fairer taxation on high pay and financial transactions. But we're also pragmatists. Our experience as elected representatives has taught us that sometimes the best can be the enemy of the good, and that it's right to concentrate on areas where we can make a real difference in people's lives now. So idealism and pragmatism. I believe that Green parties need both. And more than that, I believe that each one of us needs both as well. We shouldn't see ourselves as one or the other, idealists or pragmatists. We need to keep our ideals there. Our eyes have to be there, focused on our ideals. That's hard to say.